What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome back to a very special Movie Mondays episode. That is one of our, I was going to say Patreon exclusive, but it's not. It is a movie review of the brand new film that has come out this week, and that is Black Widow. It only came out on Friday this week. I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Mead. Shaun, how's it going?
Going great, Connor. A new Marvel movie to talk about on the podcast. Imagine it. It's been like a year and a half.
It'd be since you got your last paycheck. How are you still paying rent?
Oh, look, I do a lot of favours for a lot of people. That's all I'll say. I've lived a lot of lives, Connor Lawler.
Kevin Feige's grass has never looked better. I will say that.
Oh, it's flawless. It's like Hollywood grass. It looks fake. I put fake grass in his lawn.
So, this is, as we mentioned, the Black Widow review. It's a little bit of a different episode this week. And any of our older listeners will know that back in the day, when we used to have movies, every so often throughout the year, we would just stop the movie news and we would just do a spoiler-filled review for a movie that had come out, mainly a big movie. We're not reviewing like Gotti. Remember Gotti?
No, nothing of like fucking quality or any consequence. But the Suicide Squad, a Harley Quinn. We
cool
did
punch 'em ups. That's all
cool
I want.
Punch 'em ups. We did Captain Marvel at the time. Like it's just it's the brand of the show. It's comic book nonsense. So it's nice to have a little bit of that starting to come back. One question I had about Black Widow, the review: do we go full spoiler straight away, or do we try and dance around it for 10 minutes like we usually do?
I would like to go full spoilers right away.
Okay.
I just feel like if we just say it out loud, because I don't like the 50-50, half and half. What I like is if someone says, okay, that's a spoiler review, I will listen to that after I watch the film. Or vice versa. I'm always afraid if it's 50-50, I'm gonna play too long and then something will be ruined.
Right, I get you. Or like you'll do no spoilers for like 50 minutes, and the last 15 are just like, oh yeah, and this person dies and this person dies.
And also, I don't trust us. I absolutely do not.
We are not skilled enough for that. Okay, so here officially is everyone's warning. Spoilers straight away for Black Widow. And I'm also going to say every Marvel movie and property that's come out so far.
Probably. I would definitely say so. Yeah, so excellent. This is Black Widow. Now, this movie originally was meant to come out last year. Last May, I think it was.
Yeah, and May 1st, 2020.
And of course, what happened was a whole other thing. We're not going to get into it. We've all been there.
We've literally all been there.
We've literally all been there, but something happened and it got pushed back. And so they are now bringing it out here now. I think it came out July 9th. It premiered on June 29th, but it was release date was July 9th. So, Shaun, it is, I would say it's directed by Kate Shortland and it's starring Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh. I will say straight out, cast, great. We're not even going to get into the film.
Is great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just assume everyone in this is bringing their A game. Now, Shaun, this was originally meant to kick off Phase 4. So, do you feel like this was the right spot for this movie? We're going to get into scene by scene, as we always do. But just as an overview, do you feel like this was the right time to bring this film out?
I mean, they kind of had to bring it out, July 9th of 2021 because of reasons. I think it might have had a bit more of an impact and a bit more, I suppose, like it has hype because it's the first Marvel movie to come out in years, but it might have had a bit more, excitement around it if this had been the movie after Endgame and we got to get to know this character that we just said goodbye to, effectively.
But you're still on the train that this should be Phase 4. Because I would be of the opinion that it's set in the area between Civil War. It's set in the time that we see Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr. have their scene, and then we see them in Infinity War, her and Cap. And so it's in that little bit in the middle, and it's just kind of filling out that. But I feel like this is such a... And I don't want to see this as an insult, but it should have come out in Phase 2. We've kind of discussed that many times.
They should have come out straight after is it Age of Ultron or Civil War?
Age of Ultron.
Because Civil War is directly before this film, basically. They just broke the Sokovia Accords and things like that. But it should have been around that time we had a Black Widow solo movie. But I don't think it would have been as good at the time.
Interesting.
Because we're into this kind of renaissance of quote-unquote like origin or solo movies where they have interesting plots and a load of interesting side characters around them. It's not, here's the main character and they need to have powers by the end of this movie. We've gone beyond that, but I don't think back in Age of Ultron or Civil War times we had quite reached that yet. Like even Captain Marvel struggles with the origin story syndrome a little bit.
And I think origin stories are hard. And that's why Iron Man is so good. Because, and even Iron Man, like the villain in Iron Man at the end is just a giant robot. He's fighting himself, which is a staple of Marvel at the minute, or since they started, really. But I mean, origin movies are hard, and this one also has an added thing that it's an origin film for a character that we've already seen die and have been with for 10 movies, but it's a prequel, so it's an origin, but not to her, because she's already kind of in the universe, so it's kind of an origin to other characters in this film.
Exactly, it's an origin to other characters, and it's backstory for Black Widow. Who she always had this vagueness of, I've lived a lot of lives and I'm done running from my past and all this, and now we see what all of that actually was.
See, I think it should have come after Age of Ultron, because they delved into it slightly, as much shit as Joss Whedon will get, as just as a man or even just as director of that film. I mean, the idea is that movie was pretty decent. I mean, it was fine, but it delved slightly into the Red Room and everything to do with Black Widow, and then we never seen it again. It was just there.
It was just dropped up until this movie, essentially. This is the first time in years we've heard of the Red Room being mentioned.
Yeah, so, okay, I think we should probably get into scene by scene, but what we'll do is, we'll go scene by scene, but we'll kind of give you our thoughts just generally about different characters, different lines, like, it won't just be, she said this, he said this. So, no,
we don't have a good enough memory for that.
Absolutely not. So, I have my little notepad here, just scribbles as each scene happens. So we start off in Ohio in 1995. We have a young ScarJo, and she's running around with her blue hair, and she's also whistling, and when she whistles she hears a whistle back, and we find out that this is Florence Pugh's character, who's her sister at the time, and then you have Rachel Weisz as well. Is it Weisz or Weiss?
I say Weiss, but I don't speak German.
True. English, Rachel Weisz. And so, so we have a flashback to them as a family, and it's just it's really just like all American. It's a classic family tale.
It is. It's revealed then that they are Soviet operatives, basically, hiding out in the States. What I like is
David Harbour comes home and is like, we need to leave.
It's time. It's time to go. But what I like about that is, and it comes up later in the film, like Natasha, as a child living in Ohio, she knows she's like a Russian sleeper agent kind of deal. But Yelena kind of buys into the act a little bit, because she's younger than Natasha. So she was basically, this was how she grew up, and this was all normal. But Natasha presumably remembers a lot of like the Red Room training and stuff like that.
And something that's really interesting that I really like the idea of is that, as you said, she's already gone through some of the Red Room. What age is she here? Maybe 10 or 11? Maybe a little older? But she's already gone through some semblance of the Red Room. But the minute she gets out and they go to America and they have some semblance that they have a choice, she does a terrible job dyeing her hair, as a kid would, because she's never had a choice before. And so now she gets to, I get to do whatever I want. I'll fucking dye my hair blue. Like, it's grand.
what breaks my heart though is like she clearly has a life there, like because she's cycling through the neighborhood and she's fucking waving at kids and all that. Like,
yeah,
she has friends, man. It's heartbreaking.
Oh, like, and so yeah, we have them at the dinner, and the whole start is basically David Harbour comes home, Red Guardian, but he's looking a lot younger here, looking classic David Harbour. And he comes home and he's basically just like, we have an hour. We need to get out of the country. And so they break into the children. And as you mentioned, what I like is that you have Natasha, who already understands. They're like, we have to leave. She's like, okay. And Yelena's just like, oh, we're going on a trip. Okay. And then they're in the car listening to the song that she likes and everything.
American Pie, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very, like, not Soviet song in a lot of ways and stuff like that as well. It's this weird contrast. But they go to the airfield and they're all like trained for this. Like even Yelena is like pulling the blocks out from under the plane and everything like that. Like they're all ready for this moment. Like they've been preparing the last 3 years. And then we see David Harbour being like super soldier, super strong and all that. He just like throws a trailer.
And it's not even like, he doesn't even throw it. He just literally puts his hand underneath it and then just moves his hand up and it flies like 10 yards back and you're just like, oh shit.
Oh shit, that is Red Guardian. Like,
yeah. And that was the first moment I was like, oh, super soldiers. Because, like, if you didn't know who Red Guardian is, I mean, the first thing that this does is it punches you in the face. It's like, oh shit, that guy's something like Captain America.
Yeah. Or even if you're not into, like, all of the Marvel movies or any of the comics or anything like that, you would get the fact that, okay, this is about superhero, this guy has super strength. Like, that's it. That's all you need to know, basically.
Yeah, and then Rachel Weisz's character, she gets shot. So she gets shot in the front seat. And what happens is that...
Biggest rug pull of this movie, by the way. The whole Rachel Weisz storyline. I was full sure she was Taskmaster.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because she gets shot in the escape. David Harbour's like hanging on to the side of the plane and everything like that. They end up, I think, is it Cuba? They end up. And she's just taken into a military ambulance and isn't seen again for a very long time.
See, the only reason I didn't think it was her is because the dinner table scene hadn't happened, and that was in every single trailer for like 2 years.
That's
I was like,
true.
she still has to appear at some stage out of costume.
That's true. Now, there was a moment with Taskmaster later on when I was like, oh, okay, that's definitely who it is.
Okay.
We will get to that.
Yeah. And so
Natasha freaks out on that runway, dude.
Yeah, well, she freaks out because she knows what's about to happen. So the mission is over. Like, Red Guardian comes back and he pulls out this disc or whatever he downloaded.
It's a floppy drive. It's like 3 megabytes.
Yeah, like, it's a floppy disk. And he's just like, I've got this 1 millibyte or megabyte of data. This is all you need to save on a PS1. Okay, but it's like, this is all I have. But it's got all the secrets. And your man's like, fucking great stuff. Ray Winston's like, fantastic. By the way, in my notes, I just have all the actor names.
Fair. It's easier to remember in a lot of ways.
Easier.
But David Harbour, he's immediately like, oh, when can I get back in the field? I want to be Red Guardian again.
Because he's been given superpowers. And he's like, I want to get in the field. Why do you have me locked up undercover? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Just why have I been in Ohio for 3 years?
And also, David Harbour in this, like, Red Guardian, he's an idiot. So, like, he's just all brawn. And he just is so selfish that he doesn't... Like, he lands, and his first thought is, what's going to happen to the girls? It's like, yeah, but what about me? When's my next mission? And his wife gets taken off after being shot.
He does not care.
He doesn't care. And because he's an agent at the end of the day. And so the two girls get taken away. And Natasha steals one guy's gun, and she's like, get the fuck away from her. You're not going to touch us. And then
I'll kill all of you.
Yeah, I'll kill all of you. Because she knows, she's like, if they take us away, like, Yelena and me, we're fucked.
We're never seeing each other again.
Never seeing each other again. And this brings an end to this happy life that they've built. And so then the two of them get syringes put into their necks when they're not looking because David Harbour's distracting them and they get taken away. And it's just heartbreaking to see these two children basically being dragged away like child trafficking.
Like a 6-year-old and a fucking 11-year-old, like, just being dragged. across the country into fucking shipping containers and all of this. What I will say as well, also, how long has it been since we had an intro credits in a movie?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking it's been a long time, and also fantastic credits is what I'm saying.
They look amazing. Like, I really like it.
Like, you have obviously Smells Like Teen Spirit playing overneath, but it's like a different version. But it's, I mean, what really got me was the Christmas photos, and they're called back to later on, but like the photos of them on all the different anniversaries and them like smiling into the camera, and you're just like, oh shit, this is like dark. This is fucked. I don't think it ever reaches this height of darkness ever again, but like, I thought I was in for a different movie. At this point, I was like, this is fucked. Yeah, let's go.
It is very fucked. What I will say, and just I like to have this kind of overarching through all of my thoughts on the review, this felt very like a Bourne movie to me. A lot of
Interesting.
the time.
Okay. Yeah, no, and look, that's not a bad place to be.
Not at all. They're fantastic spy movies. So
yeah.
They're doing
I mean, James Bond has been trying to copy off Bourne for years. It's like, I want what he has. Unsuccessfully. And so then we cut to 21 years later, and we have your favourite character, Mr. General Ross.
Yes, Thunderbolt Ross.
Thunderbolt Ross. And he's hot on the heels of Miss Natasha. And he's like, we're about to catch you. And she's like, oh no, this is terrible.
No, Ross, please, no. Aren't you tired? You're not looking well. He thinks he's in control of it because he has 4 SWAT teams behind him. But she's she's not even in the building.
No, she put her tracker in like a bathroom and then just fucked out with her. She's like, no, I'm not interested.
She's heading off to Norway. Also, Norway getting another show in Marvel movies after Thor Ragnarok.
Big shout out to Norway. They are constantly getting shown.
Specifically, shout out to the Norwegian Film Board, who provide funding for such things.
Those lads are raking it in. They are doing well.
To be fair, the Irish Film Board does the same.
Oh, absolutely. If you haven't flaunted, we've got green fields.
We had Star Wars for a while, lads.
For a while. When was that, like 7 years ago? Oh man, we're still living off it.
Still riding the Star Wars high. It's still in the ads, I think.
I think so. I actually do think so. And so we find out that Natasha's nowhere near that. She's off in Norway, basically, like, going undercover. Like, she tells Ross, I can just vanish off the face of the earth. Like, I have no interest in talking to anybody. I'm just going to keep to myself. Like, you can do whatever you want about the Sokovia Accords. I have no interest.
Yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm finished with all of this.
And so you have then it cuts to Morocco, and we have the first introduction of Miss Florence Pugh, who's the MVP of this movie, I would say.
Yeah. She's amazing in this.
Now, I will say that she's chasing a woman who we come to find out is like an ex-widow who has basically defected because she realised like it was fucked. And so they're chasing her down, and she's got all these red serums that are gases that they need to get, and
that can cure brain. Because the logic that they gave,
here we go,
is that when Natasha went through the Red Room, it was your classic brainwashing and mental conditioning.
Classic brainwashing. We've all been there.
A load of videos flashing on a screen, some cocktail of drugs and things like that.
Bit of subliminal messaging. What would you like for dinner, kill this man? Would you like eggs?
Communism, please. But
can I just have a little bit of orange juice with a little bit of communism? Actually, can I actually have bacon as well, please?
And can I actually have one of those for everyone in the bar, please?
The same amount. Don't fucking spread.
Equal distributions. But what happened with Yelena was that their brains were chemically altered, that they would just obey any orders given by Drago.
Yeah.
So you can't defect from that, basically. It rewires your brain. Which,
I mean, it is a plot point. Look, I will say that, I mean, as is normally common with all Marvel movies, that the villain or the plot in this film is not that strong. Like, But unfortunately, I think it has an outline of a really, really interesting idea, but they have to skip a few beats to get to the point where, right, this red gas is going to return everyone back to the way they were. Alright, cool. Now we've got that settled. Let's move on.
There's a bit of that. It's like an anti-super soldier serum in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because instead of trying to spread it to everyone to make them stronger, you're trying to give them free will, essentially. Because that's the other thing about like the Widow program, and kind of a good contrast between Red Guardian is that Red Guardian like signed up for this shit. Like he believes all of the communism and great, the West must die, all that kind of stuff. But like the Widows were never given a choice. They were fucking yanked away as children and put through all of this.
Yeah,
so
and
they're just giving people the choice.
And so Florence Pugh is exposed to this gas mid-fight. And she kills the woman because she's still brainwashed, and then she gets exposed at the last second. She's like, oh shit, like,
yeah,
I have been brainwashed my whole life. She suddenly reverts back to her character, and so then this is where the plot
cuts the tracker out of her own leg.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was the first thing she does.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And then she's hunted then, from then on, by the other widows.
Yeah, and also in between this is just a very small glimpse of your favourite character, Taskmaster, Shaun, the villain of this.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Taskmaster, what a guy.
What a guy. Tony Masters, great guy. So, couple of things about Taskmaster. Taskmaster is very different in this movie from the comics. Not better or worse, I would say.
Okay.
Just different. In many ways, it makes a lot more sense because Taskmaster in the comics has photographic reflexes, which isn't a thing.
No, not really. No, it is. I mean, you could just say he studied a lot of tape, but no, he's got those reflexes.
But Taskmaster in this movie has just studied the tapes like over and over and over. Like that's all Taskmaster does in this, and that's why they have the abilities to copy any Avenger.
I was interested to see how you felt about the Taskmaster in this, because I know you love Taskmaster, and so this is a different take. So to hear you say that it's not worse or better is okay. I can see that, because I thought you might come in hot and say this is not what you expected.
It isn't what I expected. Very different from the Taskmaster in the comics, but by the same token, it is a different character. So that's absolutely grand in my book. Like Taskmaster in himself has had different iterations in the comics. Sometimes he's a Punisher style dude who's real grim and gritty. Other times he's a Spider-Man villain who is just cracking wise the whole time. Like he can be different things depending on what the story needs. This, I was going to say, made the most sense for the story. Doesn't really, but it's good enough.
I think it was just a way. I mean, we'll get to the big reveal later on, but it is just a way to have Ray Winstone's character here.
It's a lot. It's a necessary setup for some catharsis for most of the characters involved.
Yeah, okay. And so then we move to Norway, where Nat is like setting up her life, and she's got her friend who sets her up.
Mason,
Mason sets her up, and they start talking about Budapest, but there's a lot of mention of Budapest. So it's almost like that would be a more interesting story to tell. I'd like to see what happened there, but let's have people talking about it afterwards.
Yeah, we get a brief flashback to it, like the briefest of flashbacks.
Yeah,
but that's about it. And Budapest is always this thing that Black Widow mentions. It's between herself and Hawkeye, and so I thought this movie would, when they said it was going to be like a prequel in a way, I thought they might touch on that, but maybe later, in a comic or something.
So she runs out of electricity, so she's like, okay, I'm going to just drive into town, get some more gas, it's going to be all grand. Another way there, she experiences a very bad CGI car explosion that takes her out.
It's not great. It's not one of the best car explosions.
No, it's weird. I mean, $200 million, and the rest of the movie looks great. It was just that one
there's a really good car explosion later.
Yeah.
which
they used up all the budget.
They used up all the budget on that for the trailer shot. But yeah, this is like Taskmaster is legitimately terrifying in this scene.
Oh yeah, this is fucking great. This scene and the fight between the two of them are the two standout fight scenes, because this one, it's at night time, so it obviously looks cooler. She starts off like she's hanging off the side on the car. She gets out of that, and then it becomes a case of she realizes he's not fighting her, that Taskmaster's actually going for the suitcase full of the vials that are there
that had been sent to her by Yelena. But she didn't know this yet. And
so, but Taskmaster's fighting is so cool. There's a bit where he swings back down on the wire, like she ties him up, and then he swings back down, and the sword like scrapes along the road, and like all the sparks are coming up. And I was just like, "Oh shit, this is cool!"
Metal as fuck. She does her standard like wrap her legs around his head and flip, and he just reverses that.
Yeah, and I love the idea that he's just unstoppable. We keep saying he, by the way, because at this time we still think it's just Taskmaster from the comic books.
Yeah, that's what we're meant to assume, I think. Or it's Rachel Weisz. Would make a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
What I will say as well, the Taskmaster is like the Terminator in this movie. Like, just keeps coming at you, basically.
And you know what? I would have preferred if that was the villain. And I know it's understand that it's hard to do that in villainy. Like, I mean, Terminator did it pretty well, Terminator 2, but like, you need to have the Ray Winston character there. But if you took that character out and you just had Taskmaster just constantly moving forward, and the two of them, and then the family all just trying to like escape constantly until they somehow overcome it at the end, and then trick Taskmaster
through the power of family.
Through the power of La Familia. Yeah, Vin Diesel loves this fucking movie, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I want to say I like Taskmaster in this movie. It's just cool for me to see Taskmaster fighting about, because, and if you don't like who's under the mask as Taskmaster wears a mask. It's fine.
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who it is, really. Like, they have all the powers of all the Avengers. It's a great suit. Looks so cool with the hood up, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. And just the skull, like the mask itself, is just great design.
Mwah. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. And so he eventually kicks her off the bridge. Or Taskmaster kicks Natasha off the bridge, and it's just like, right, now go back over to the vials, but she's taken them because she realised what he was doing. And so then she goes back to Budapest, as she calls it, and we have our first meeting of Miss Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson, and they don't get off to a good start, Shaun.
No, bit of infighting, bit of mirror fighting as it goes. It's really interesting to see because they're clearly evenly matched, but Natasha almost seems like more experienced in different types of fighting.
Yeah, I think that's what stood out to me. It's like, if it was just a straight up Red Room fight, it's 50-50. But Natasha's been fighting like all sorts of aliens and shit for years, so she's got a different mode.
Yeah, and I like as well that like Yelena's kind of bitter about, like, you could have saved me at any time, but you were just off being a superhero and doing flips and shit. I hope, like, was that fun? She's a really down to earth, like, she feels like a real character, Yelena, like a real person.
Like, I mean, and look, Florence Pugh is probably one of the best actresses working in the world at the minute, so I mean, fair fucks to her. Like immediately when she comes on the screen, she just owns the screen, and you're just kind of like, oh, who is she? What's her character's deal? And like, that's the best compliment you can give to an actress. So like, even the very small bit when they're facing off at the start and she's backing up and she does like a little trip, and then Scarlett Johansson goes, oh, what's your step? And then she just like gives her a smile, like, oh, fuck you. Like a shit-eating grin, like your little sister. Like your big sister's after saying something mean to you, like, oh, fuck you. And then, so even just that moment, this movie also, by the way, has lots of improv. The director, Kate Shortland, has come out to say, like, they would do a lot of work. And the screenplay is by Eric Pearson. And so they would have this screenplay there. They would do everything. But then what would happen was, she says that she would ring Kevin Feige and say, oh, David Harbour has this idea, or Florence Pugh has this idea, or Scarlett has this idea. And he'd go, well, have you got all the other shots done for today? And she goes, yeah. Sure, fuck it, shoot it. Go on, you have time. And so a lot of those improv scenes actually ended up in the movie. And I would guarantee that Watch Your Step thing is definitely an improv bit that they were in the middle of the fight.
Absolutely. And it just lends itself to more realistic dialogue.
And you know what it is? It's such a gritty fight. You mentioned Bourne. Like, it's proper Jason Bourne. Like, there's the bit when she's at the sink and she, like, reaches back and just grabs a plate and just fucks it against her head. Like, and then she fucks her into a door and, like, the leg, like, Natasha's leg gets all mangled up. The stunt woman did a very good job on that. But, like,
and then at the end when they have the curtain between them and they're trying to choke each other out with the same curtain.
They're fighting over at the curtain. Like, the first thing you would do is reach for a weapon. Okay, well, I can wrap this around her neck. Okay, fine. Like, it's just logical.
Yeah, and they both do that, and then they call a truce. Natasha's the one who suggests a truce, because I think clearly she thought, no, she'll kill both of us and she won't care.
Yeah, because it's like, it's a proper sibling. Like, the little one is always like, no, fuck you, I'm going to just keep going. Right? I'm just as good as you are. Just because you're an Avenger. I mean, I just have great use of the environment here. And my least favourite part of this whole scene is when Yelena is explaining to Natasha what's going on. And then Natasha says, in English next time, please. Which...
It's like, you're a spy. You're an Avenger.
You know. You're not an idiot.
You're fucking best friends with Bruce Banner, who never speaks like in anything other than science.
It does get out of the cliche, because the next line that Yelena says, she says it in Russian, as in like a fuck you, like say it in English next time. Okay, well, I'm not even going to say it in English anymore. And so what happens then is you see also, by the way, Natasha is like black and blue, like. She has bruises all over her body. She is fucked from the fighting. And it's at that moment you're just like, oh man, hope no fight scene happens very soon after this. And then of course all the widows show up because they have found them.
Yeah, and then you have this like it's a pretty good action set piece where they're running, they're climbing on roofs, sliding down roofs and fucking leapfrogging over to buildings on top of chimneys and things like that. And
although ScarJo should definitely die in this scene, like,
should be dead,
100% dead. I mean, she falls about 50 feet, hits every metal thing on the way down, and just lands on her feet. She's like, oh man, just brushes off on the shoulder. Wow, that was a tough fall.
There's that, and like the other widow falls the same distance and is dying.
And is dying. I was like, and actually the other widow didn't even hit anything. Like, Scarlett hit every single fence and railing on the way down.
Just walks it off.
It's fine. Just leave it. And so then we see the other widow get terminated.
Yeah, that's a hard scene, because she's like, her last words are like, he's making me do this.
Yeah, and he makes her kill herself.
Yeah, with the widow bite thing. Cool to see those, by the way. Those little gauntlet shock things, they're class. And
they all have them, which I quite like.
Yeah, it's like standard issue for widows.
Yeah, and so they're still kind of trying to get away, so then eventually they get onto, you have a bike chase, and then a car chase, they steal a car, and then there's the whole bit where suddenly a woman called Taskmaster shows up, and just fucks them up, is what I have.
Taskmaster just like sails a tank through Budapest, and just is firing explosive arrows at the car. I like Hawkeye as well, Hawkeye style, and that looks back into like at Taskmaster drawing the arrow, and is just like, oh, buckle your seatbelt, because she knows what's coming, because she's seen it happen.
And like that car gets exploded, and the two of them I mean, they should be dead again. I mean, that's a definite death.
Yelena gets a small cut on her arm, Connor.
Small cut on her arm, and Natasha just rolls out. She's like, "Oh man, I thought I was sore after that 50-foot fall on the tarmac, but I landed on my feet
5
that
minutes
time."
ago. Yeah. But now look, that car flip. That's a good looking car flip.
A great car flip. I love a car flip.
Looks really good. Looks a bit ropey when it slides down into the middle of the train station. Bit of dodgy CGI there, but I'll forgive it because I love a car flip.
Yeah, and look, it's much better than the other CGI explosion, so I'm okay with it. And so Taskmaster is following them into the subway, and the idea is that Yelena is bleeding, and so Natasha comes up with the plan that they're going to take this blood and use it to their advantage. So they lead him to like a little, what's the word I'm looking for?
A grate?
Like a grate, and all the blood is there, and so Taskmaster goes down, and the two of them are actually hiding up in one of the vents, Shaun.
Up in the vents, and Natasha said she hid there with Clint before, and they were playing like X's and O's and Hangman and all that stuff. I didn't look too much into it. I'm sure if you freeze frame on that, there's a bunch of Easter eggs that they like scratched into the walls.
100%. And I mean, another bygone of an interesting movie that we could have done. Man, I wish I could have seen the two of them in that event. That would have been cool.
Save something for the Hawkeye series, Connor.
Now we have to watch the Hawkeye series. That's the worst part of this film.
I'll be honest, Connor, no one's watching it for Clint Barton.
Not unless he has that endgame haircut. Oh boy, what a haircut.
Or unless he's just killing Yakuza for some reason.
For some reason.
Because he's sad.
He's just sad. You know when you're sad, you kill a few samurais. Like, you go in, kill a few gangs with a samurai sword. You know how it is.
Standard procedure.
And so we find out here that Natasha says, she killed Ray Winston's daughter, and that's why he's mad.
Scarlett Johansson killed the actor Ray Winston's daughter.
What is Ray Winston's character's name?
Drago.
Dracoff. I thought it was Dracoff.
Is it not Drago's daughter?
They call him Draco a few times, but then they said Dracoff later on, and I was just
Dragoff?
Draco Dragoff, that's his name. And so Drago, she says that she killed his daughter accidentally by trying to kill him. She exploded.
Not accidentally, she was collateral.
Oh yeah, she exploded the fucking room, and the daughter was there, but she was looking to kill him, mostly.
Yeah, like, but she gave the word, like, yep, blow up the building now. I know he's there because his daughter is in visiting him. Yeah,
and I mean, what do we think about that for Natasha? Is this meant to be when she's part of the Avengers?
Yeah, so this is her red in her ledger, basically.
Okay.
This is the worst thing she's ever done, is she killed an innocent child, effectively, as part of her defecting to S.H.I.E.L.D. So there's the argument of like greater good and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, she killed an innocent child, is what she thinks. That's what Loki says to her. When Loki's in the like prison tube and Black Widow's interrogating him, he's like, I know all about you. And then he just says Dracov's daughter.
Yes, that's great. That's a good callback, to be fair.
Very good callback. And it's also worked because all the widows are kind of Dracov's daughters in a way as well. Like, in the sense that, like, in a really fucked up way.
In a Stockholm Syndrome sense.
In a Stockholm Syndrome sense, but in the sense of, like, all of those widows are kind of sisters, a sisterly element to it all.
Yeah.
But I like, look, this is weird for a character, because in this one movie we have to come to terms with the fact that Black Widow, who is already dead, by the way, we have to come to terms with the fact that she killed a child. And then it's revealed that actually, no.
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of this movie, like, it has 2 or 3, like, really dark, interesting character ideas, but I think it, like, dips its toe. Like, it never actually goes full into it. Like, it never, like, it tells us, like, the widows, they're all taken as children. Okay. but it's never actually expanded upon. We never do anything with that information. It's just like, oh, that's terrible. Fuck. That's real bad.
Yeah, you never quite reach the darkness of the opening credits.
No, that's what I mean. Like, you have, like, really dark, and I don't want it to be, like, a whole character piece, like, for the fucking 2 hours, but
no one
to throw, they're really interesting ideas that are just kind of touched upon, and then it's like, why bring up that super dark thing if it's not going to be dealt with in any way? Like, just kind of throw it to us. Oh yeah, also, she killed a child. Okay, and so anyway,
deal with that. Yeah, perfect. And like people are asking her about it, like, a lot in this film. It's like, you did kill his daughter. Like, he hates you because of that.
I can understand that.
Absolutely, I'd be the same myself. But it's as soon as the daughter showed up. And there was the explosion. I was like, oh, okay, the daughter's Taskmaster. Like, I just knew that in my head. It was like, okay, this character we've never seen before, and is heavily invested in the plot. Yeah, they're the masked murderer.
Okay, I never picked up on that because I'm an idiot.
Oh, that's cool.
But, well, no, I just think I'm dumb. I don't know if that's good on them though. I just think I just watch a movie and go, wow, scene by scene, this is pretty good.
But how was that twist for you?
I mean, fine. It was grand.
Good.
The next is like a long stretch of you have Yelena and Natasha hanging out and just like
bonding,
like exposition bonding, and the chemistry of these two people is off the charts.
I wagered this is a lot of the improv stuff. Because it's very natural.
For example, one of the lines I have is, what about the god from space? Does he take an ibuprofen after a fight when she's talking to Natasha?
What you said, like, I thought you'd hand it over to one of the main Avengers or something like that.
Yeah. And but then my favourite thing in the whole sequence, is probably yours as well, is the poser bit in the store. And it's when Florence Pugh is just like, why do you do that head thing? Like, why do you pose like that? You'd break all your legs.
You pose down on like one leg and flip your hair back as if everyone's looking at you.
And do you want to know an amazing thing of behind the scenes? That is improv. That was not in the script. What happened was Florence Pugh did training for this film, and one of the stuntmen was talking to her and was like, oh, like, if you landed like that in real life, you would die. Like, there'd be no point. And she just thought that was so funny. And so she came in the next day to work with Scarlett Johansson. I was just slagging her. Like, the way you land, I was told that you would die. Like, you've been doing this for 10 years and you would die.
That's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, and what happened was Eric Pearson, who wrote the screenplay, was on set that day. And he went, stop. What are you saying? That's really funny. Okay, and he added it into the script that day. So that was Florence Pugh like slagging Scarlett Johansson that it got added into the script.
That's amazing, because that's one of the best like through line jokes in this whole thing, because it keeps coming up.
Yeah, and it's like the most real bit that like it is a classic quip, like a Marvel quip, but it's also, it is amusing because we're kind of right there with Natasha, who we see do all this, but Yelena immediately becomes like your most likable character. It's just like, oh, she's taking the piss out of her really serious big sister.
Yeah, and it works, and that's how people would act. Like Yelena is. I'm really looking forward to seeing her as like full Black Widow.
Oh yeah,
in the MCU. I think that's watching her play off of like fucking Sam Wilson or Bucky. Like, that's going to be hilarious.
Like, I just think that it's one of the best performances in a Marvel film. Like, Florence Pugh just absolutely, like, just destroys it. Any scene that she's in, she just absolutely kills it. There's no other way to do it. And so you kind of come away from it. If you don't come away from this movie going, I'd love to see Yelena in another film, like, I don't know what you're watching, because I think this movie, plot-wise, not so great. We haven't even gotten to Red Guardian yet, but the four of them as a family they carry this film. They like throw it on their back and they're like, right, we're just going to do this ourselves, and our chemistry is going to drive this whole plot.
Yeah, and on the subject of Red Guardian, that's how they're trying to find the Red Room. Their whole goal now, because none of them neither of them know what to do now because they have like the cure for the widows, and neither of them have anywhere like to call home. So it's like, let's just go kill the Red Room.
Also, they have the first bit before that is when they're driving in the car.
The vest.
And the vest, and it just says it has a lot of pockets. Where'd you get that? Like an army depot, or what's the story?
It's very functional.
And like the idea of like a younger sibling like trying to impress their older sibling. Like, no, it is. It's good. I swear.
It's cute though, because she's like, this is the first thing I bought once I had like free will.
Yeah. And then there's also the bonding scene of them at the bar, and like. You have Natasha there, and like without even saying anything, just starts giving first aid, like just starts bandaging up her little sister, and it's just like they don't say anything, like nothing ever has to be mentioned, but it's just them having a great discussion about like, was it real? Was it not real? Like it was real to me, but it wasn't real to you, and did any of it matter? And it's a really interesting look into their psyche, because like Yelena is still a child, really, like she's still of the opinion that like that mattered to her. She was too young to really see the subtext of what was going on, whereas Natasha's a bit older, so she's like, we were ages from the start, like none of that was real, but secretly she does want it to be real as well. Like it was nice for her.
They both did genuinely love each other as children. So
yeah. And so then they go visit Red Guardian in jail, because he's in jail for life.
He was thrown away into Russian jail, and I like how he has a line of dudes waiting to arm wrestle him. He's just boasting and telling stories about how he.
But they're all lies.
They're all lies because the dude is like, he was in the ice.
That was my favourite bit when the man's like, that doesn't add up. Was he not in the ice at that stage? And everyone just stops, is like, oh shit, someone's after calling him out. He's going to kill him.
As he's getting a Red Guardian back piece on his own back.
Yeah, and then he breaks that guy's wrist.
Yeah. So Orla pointed out to me as well, he has Karl Marx tattooed on his knuckles.
Fuck's sake. He's just genuinely, like, he's a great character, because, like, if you just accept that's who he is, like, he is just that true and true. He's just Red Guardian. That is who he is. He's like, Mr. Incredible, but like with like a communist Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, Comrade Incredible. Because you get the sense as well, like he's not all there anymore either. Maybe it's the years of imprisonment, or maybe it's the experimental super soldier serum coursing through his veins. But he's a bit mental.
Yeah, and so they basically try to break him out. And they send him a note in a Red Guardian toy, and it just says, go to the East Gate or the West Gate. I can't quite remember.
They give him a little earpiece, and they just kind of talk him through the prison. And I like he just smashes his way through, and all the inmates are like, oh, Red Guardian's escaping, guys.
Yeah, and this is our first introduction to White Suit Natasha.
Very cool.
It's a slick suit. I like the white suit.
I like the white suit as well.
And when she lands,
they both have one for a while piloting the helicopter.
When she lands from the helicopter, she lands like herself, and it cuts back to Florence Pugh. She's like, such a poser.
Such a poser. You're an arsehole.
I wasn't a fan of the CGI of the landscape in this scene. It's not great. Like sometimes it's a bit iffy. Sometimes it cuts that it's clearly them on a green screen, and then other times it cuts that it's a little more believable. So I don't know.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff here that is just like, Scarlett Johansson flying around on a wire, and a CGI David Harbour climbing up walls.
And I think the bit that made me laugh the most in the whole film is when they're both getting fucked, like the helicopter spinning around in a circle, and Scarlett Johansson is fighting off like 10 dudes, and she's like swinging around, like trying to survive. And it cuts back to Yelena, and she throws up a big thumbs up, and she's like, "We're both doing a really good job."
Just like, a bit of hype, a bit of a hype man going on there. I like as well when they're getting shot at, and Yelena just like rocket launchers the sniper tower,
and then a big avalanche starts, and she's just like, "Oh shit."
This is a pretty cool way to die. Like, that's all she cares about.
She keeps saying that. And so they eventually save him, and they get him into the helicopter just in the last second, and the avalanche comes in and they fly away. And the first thing they do is they punch him. I like the bit where he's talking to them, but they can't hear him, so he has to put on the headset. It's like, oh, they can't hear me. They can't hear me.
He thinks that's the reason they're not responding. It's like, oh, because of the headphones.
Because they hate him. And he just never shuts up. For like the first 5 minutes, he's just constantly monologuing about himself.
And just being like, oh, thank you for rescuing me. I knew you'd always come back. And
then he says to Yelena, is it your time of the month? When she responds. And I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, you fucking idiot. No, they remove your uterus. And your ovary, like and
you know what? I think that was
fucking idiot.
That was a great response. Like, is it your time? No, they literally took our fucking uterus, so it's impossible.
When you join the Red Room,
and I like how like he's all like meant to be like cocky, and he's like, no, stop. It's like, dude, you fucking starred this. Like, if you want to get fucking real, like
he's. Yeah, I love Red Guardian in this movie, but he's such a shithead.
Oh, he's such a shithouse. Like, he's the worst person. But the problem is he's the worst person, but he's played by David Harbour, who's a very charming man, so you're kind of like, fuck it, go on.
You scamp.
I think this is the one scene where I was like, I hate him. But then when they land, like the helicopter, there's a great cut scene where he's just like,
we have enough gas to get there to St. Petersburg.
Because they have to get to Mylena, who's Rachel Weisz's character, and they're basically saying, he's like, I don't know where the Red Room is, but she does. So the idea is that they've come to him. No, first of all, Scarlett Johansson, Natasha went to Yelena. She's like, oh, we need to talk to our dad. And then they talk to him, and she's like, we need to talk to your mom. And so they have to get to St. Petersburg, and Yelena's like, we don't have enough gas. And he's like, you'll be fine, you'll have plenty of gas. The next cutscene is just them dropping out of the sky slowly.
Just fly, like, crashing into the ground.
And then the bit is, the next, like, 10, I would say next 60 seconds is really funny. It's just... First of all, him saying, does he talk about me? About Cap to Scarlett Johansson? Or it's just like,
my greatest enemy.
My greatest enemy. He probably talks about me all the time. We have a big history, me and Cap. And Cap has never mentioned him once.
No, like Cap has never heard of this man, presumably, because Cap went into the ice in 1945. What I like as well is just like, and he's just like, I'm so proud of you. Look at what you've become.
That was my other
killed so many people.
Because Natasha has spent the whole MCU being like, I've got raid in my ledger. I need to wipe it out. I need to do good to give it back. And he's just like, your ledger is dripping with blood. I'm so proud of you.
It's like, he's in his own way, he's trying. That's the worst part about it.
But to him, that's a good thing. But he doesn't realise to everyone else, they're like, no, that's not what we want anymore. He's like, you are soaked.
We didn't ask for this.
Soaked in blood. You've killed so many people.
Like, it's a very good moment. And Natasha just leaves, and Yelena gets caught in a hug, and she just like worms her way out of it, just being like, I don't want this. Let's go talk to Rachel Weisz and see what she says.
And so they end up in Melena's farm, and it turns out that this is the whole scene that we've seen in the trailer loads of times with them at the table. Red Guardian gets back into his suit, so they're all in their suits when they sit there. That's a very Mr. Incredible vibe, getting back into his old suit when he's like still
squeezing
fits.
In, like a glove. What's really fucked about this scene, and again, it's not really elaborated on a huge amount. Melena's thing with the pigs, right? So her whole deal is that she's genetically engineered pigs to basically respond to. Basically, she can control any aspect of their brain, to the point that she tells a pig to stop breathing, and it does.
Yeah.
And that technology is apparently in all of the Widows.
Yeah.
Like, that's twisted.
That's really dark. A really dark idea. Let's very quickly glance over it. Natasha, elbows off the table.
Yeah, just have some vodka. But
That's what I mean. Like, that is a really fucking cool idea. That you could have had a situation where Ray Winston's like, I'm going to kill every widow if you don't stop. Like, he's standing over a button like, I will turn off all their brains right now if you do not leave this facility and fuck off and let me back to my job.
Like, yeah, and like, it's just, it's never addressed. Like, Yelena is listening to all this and just being like, and did you... It's a gut-wrenching line. She's like, and did you know who it was tested on? Like, yeah. Because she's like, oh, that was me. That was me. If I didn't get that gas out of my head, that could still happen to me.
And I have 2 bits written down here. Like, that's a really good scene. By the way, this whole scene apparently was all heavily improvised as well. Like,
makes sense.
The 4 of them bouncing off each other, it's so good. Like, this is like, the script is there, and if we would normally say like, oh, the script is like on fire, like it's come to light, like it's absolutely pinging off each other. But it apparently they worked on this for weeks. That the 4 of them tried to build a natural rapport of father, mother, older sibling, younger sibling. How it would work, who would talk, who wouldn't talk, how would they interact with each other, especially now that like they're grown-ups, so the vibe is different. So Natasha's interaction with them is different. So when she says, like, she looks at Red Guardian after all this shit, she's like, you are an idiot. And then she looks at Melina and she's like, you are a coward. Like, straight up, the 2 of you are fucking bad people.
Yeah, you're you're equally terrible in different ways. And she's like, none of it was real. We were never a family. It was all fake. And Yelena, God help her, is just like, no, like, that's the best part of my life that you're talking about.
The line she says is, the best part of my life was fake. And, like, that is fucked.
That is twisted. Great character motivation, but twisted.
Yeah, and so what happened was that she finds out that her family got paid off. Melina and her have a scene where it splits off, by the way, that Red Guardian is stuck with Yelena, and like she's like broken down, like absolutely devastated, and he's just so emotionally dumb, like an absolute idiot, and he just keeps talking about himself constantly, and you just have the resignation in Florence Pugh's face when she's just like, this guy's a moron.
He's like, I'm stuck with him.
Melina's on the other side, and she basically says, like, about she tells them, like, they all get chosen as children for the Black Widows, and then reveals that, like, she say Natasha had a mother, that they paid her off, and what happened was they paid her off, but then she was a very inquisitive person, and so she kept basically trying to track down her own child, and eventually Dreykov had her killed. Because she was asking too many questions.
Yeah, and she was buried in like an unknown grave, and no one knows who she is. And basically, Black Widow, like Natasha, will never know who her mother was. Like, she died without knowing that. And
there's also the great bit is the callback to the credits, and it's the bit when, and it's such a good piece of writing. I don't know if it was written or improvised. I'm assuming written, where Natasha's like, I knew all the presents were empty, but I opened them anyway, just because it was all the posing for the Christmas photos. And
they're looking through the album. It's a great line. She's like, I remember. It's just not like, because I expect her to say, oh, I remember this Christmas. No, I remember when we staged these photos. Like, we did them all in one day.
And so she's like, it's like when you're like 11 or 12, she's in that bit where she still kind of believes in Santa, like, but she knows it's not real. So it's like amazing to be like, she's old enough to know that they're agents, but she's also a child. So it's a case of, she's like, I opened the presents anyway, just in case they were something, even though I knew they were empty.
Yeah, in case the KGB were fucking feeling generous all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's so fucked, and such a really interesting character thing that's never touched on again. So,
oh no!
I think that this movie is, I mean, it's a good film. Like, it's not your standout Marvel movie, but it's not bad. It's absolutely grand. And
no, it's an enjoyable. I'd say I would call it a good movie.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely enjoyable. But I do think that, personally for me, I think there are some ideas they've left on the table. Like, there's some really interesting ideas they've left there that I don't know if Scarlett Johansson will come back. So I think this was your one and done chance to do it, and they never really touched on it. Unless they're going to touch on it more with Yelena's story.
Maybe, yeah, and they'll explore, like, it might just be, Hawkeye telling her about her sister kind of a deal.
You also have the bit where it looks like Rachel Weisz betrays them. So Melina shoots, or basically tells her that she sent the alarm. And so
I hit the panic button.
I hit the panic button and they're coming. And then it goes back to the other room, and Yelena just says, "Please stop talking," to Red Guardian. And so they all get here, or all the KGB lads or the Red Room people, they all turn up, and immediately Red Guardian's like, "I'm going to stop them," and then he gets started once.
Like this.
Yeah, he gets started once, like,
stop me.
You take one dart, and then he gets like 15 more darts put in him.
It's so good, and we really and they're all taken away, and then we see Rachel Weisz's character stuns Yelena as well. Scarlett Johansson, Natasha, she's already on the ground. She's been stunned. And so we realise that the reason no one could find the Red Room is that it was hovering in the air above Russia.
Oh, for God's sake. Nobody knew. That's the thing.
No one looked up.
I love a hovering room. I've always said that. That's my phrase.
But this whole set piece on this floating island style thing reminds me very much of Winter Soldier, where all the helicarriers are coming down and everything. So it's a good vibe.
Or, Age of Ultron, where there's a whole fucking city floating.
Floating city. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, you have Melina goes to meet Dragov, and they're basically saying, oh man, they're going to take Yelena's brain, and they're going to have to try an experiment on it. And it's at this point you realise there was a Mission Impossible face swap, Shaun. We don't get these.
Connor, I cannot express how happy I was, because I was not expecting the face swap.
No! I only expect a face swap when Cruise is involved. But when Dominic Cruise ship ain't here, I wasn't expecting it.
No, so, it turns out Rachel Weisz and Scarlett Johansson swap faces. So while Rachel Weisz is able to get in close to Dreykov, and then they think that Natasha is in prison next to Red Guardian, who is bearing his soul and apologising.
Finally actually owing up to the fact that he's shit.
Yeah. And then it's revealed that no, they swapped faces. And so now Natasha is in the same room as Dreykov.
And I like the bit when it cuts to the fact that they only had one earpiece, and so she was like, I'll give it to Yelena, because she's like, I don't need it, Red Guardian's not going to fucking need it, she's the one that's going to save us, we need to give it to her. Yeah,
she trusts her in it. And as well, when Yelena's on the table, she's like, this is a much less cool way to die.
Look, that's a quip. I love a quip if it's a good quip.
I love a good
you know
quip.
What I mean? Quips get bad reps, but quips can be funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah, quips can be good. It's just if there's too many of them. Iron Man
3. And so you have the bit where it's a heartbreaking scene where you have Natasha, and she basically just says to Dreykov, what was my mother's name? And he just starts humming and hawing, and he's just like, I don't fucking know, I don't know her name, do we care? I just
the name on the grave was unknown.
Yeah, and so it's at that moment where she goes to she finds out, by the way, that Taskmaster is actually his daughter Shaun. Well predicted.
Yes, thank you. Antonia is her name.
Yeah, and so Antonia got exploded, and he brought her back from the dead, and put a chip in her neck.
Yeah, chip in her neck, which I guess allows her to download fighting styles. And that's the only thing. Kind of like
Prometheus.
A bit like the DC character Prometheus,
who we did a Hero Zero on a few weeks ago.
We also did Hero Zero on Taskmaster, so listen to the two of those and you've essentially watched this movie.
That's true. And so Natasha's like, oh, shocked. And then Yelena escapes. And so the idea is that Ray Winston's character, Dragov, he just looks at Taskmaster and he's like, go get her. Like, stop that situation.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also a small bit where Red Guardian gets out of the cage and like starts trying to talk into his earpiece, and Melina's just like, "You don't have an earpiece," because he's just like, one. He's like, Natasha, can you hear me? Where are you?
And so, what's happening then is that like everyone's goals are that Rachel Weisz's character is trying to basically shut down the engines to bring the Red Room down to the ground. Scarlett Johansson has her alert, like basically activated a tracker so that General Ross can find her. So she's going to keep Dreykov talking, basically. Red Guardian then takes on Taskmaster.
Yeah.
And Yelena is trying to she's trying to basically get the mind-fixing gas to all of the widows.
Yeah, mind-fixing gas. I like that. I like that as a plot point.
It's the best I can do.
Not your fault. That is not your fault. I will say that. There's a real weird bit about pheromones where she can't kill him because he's got pheromones and she's smelling them.
Yeah, this is and then like she learns this. Like, it's a good scene. It's good acting where she's like she literally can't pull the trigger. She can't put a knife to him. And then later on it flashes back to Rachel Weisz being like, he uses pheromones so you can't hurt him. You'd have to sever the nerve.
Yeah, and so you have the bit where also there's the amazing bit, by the way, Red Guardian versus Taskmaster. Why is Red Guardian still alive? Is my big question.
The most one-sided fight you've ever seen.
Like, he's just getting absolutely fucked. There's a bit where Yelena lands, and she lands like Scarlett Johansson, and it's the best bit of comedy movement like I've seen in ages. That she like gets up and she like starts squirming like, ooh, that was weird. So yeah, I'm saying Scarlett Johansson, but Natasha is there with Dragov, and she starts basically disrespecting him. Because, like, the idea is that, like, you just basically talk down to him. Like, you're an idiot. Like, you don't think you're great, but, like, you haven't done anything. Like, you're really bad.
Yeah. Big man behind your computer there. Like,
and he starts monologuing.
He starts monologuing
Frozone, exactly. And so he starts monologuing and telling her all his evil plan. And at this point, we find out about the pheromones. And Rachel Weisz said, you gotta sever that nerve, which, does that make sense?
I don't know if that's how it works, but...
And also, to sever a nerve, would you blunt force trauma a brain to sever a nerve, or slice it?
That's a very good point. I don't know enough about how noses or the brain works to be able to answer that, Connor. But basically, Black Widow takes several punches straight to the nose. To try and get him to do it to her, to sever the nerve so she can't smell him anymore. And she even says in the flashback, like, I'll hold my breath. Rachel Weisz like, that won't work. Why won't it work?
She also smashes her face against the desk.
That's a very Black Widow move.
Yeah, that's like proper comic book.
Black Widow. This'll what'll work.
And so she severs the nerve and then proceeds to kick the absolute living shit out of him, which is good stuff. Then you also have the fact that Melina, Rachel Weisz, we're in a controlled crash currently. It's going down. It's all exploding at the minute.
Yeah, we're going to blow up the whole place. And Yelena arrives to the training room for the widows too late. And they're all gone. They're all on the way to save
their leader.
Dreykov, their leader.
And so they all break in just before Natasha's able to do the deed, and he basically scampers out of the room and he's like, get her. And it's like 15 on 1.
Leaves.
Yeah, and it's 15 on 1. And I will say, there's definitely... I think this is a good scene. It's a good fight scene. But it's a massive difference between, say, even the fight in the kitchen and this one. And that's just because this is more polished. This is more Marvel, like, punch, kick, flip. We're going to dodge this slide. And it still looks really good, but it's just different vibes.
And they don't, like, it's not a case that they all, like, they absolutely don't attack all 15 at once, but they don't do it one by one either. Like,
it's 3 at a time, I think.
Yeah, like, Natasha is fighting off numerous Black Widows at a time, and, like, she's holding her own for a good portion of that.
Yeah, and like, she does get, like, beaten around the place, but she just keeps getting back up, and then she takes another 2 down with her, and then, like, another 3 will pile on. And so eventually the numbers game just plays out that she just can't overcome all of these Black Widows.
But that's wild that she's able to do as many as she does.
Which tells you how much she's advanced from the time that she was there.
Exactly, yeah, because she's, as you say, fighting aliens and robots and whatever else comes her way.
And so, just when all hope looks lost, Shaun, a grenade goes off that explodes the what did you call it? Brain...
The mind-fixing gas.
Mind-fixing red gas, of course, as we all know from all of our favourite movies. Mind-fixing red gas goes off. All the minds are fixed through the red gas. And
excellent, beautiful.
The Black Widows are all like, oh shit, we shouldn't have been doing this. Oh man, yeah, you're pretty cool, ScarJo.
So they're like, ScarJo's like, oh, you get out of here. She downloads all of the details of all the widows active in the field.
And she resets her nose at the same time.
Yeah, badass move.
Yeah.
And she also takes exactly 2 vials of the mind-fixing gas.
Only needs 2. How are there 2 left? Where did she get it?
I don't know. It makes no sense. They should have all blown up.
The grenade went off. Did it not all explode?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Unless they just kept one. Unless did Florence Pugh give her one? I don't know. But she has 2 now anyway, and that's important.
She has 2. Let's not look into it too deep, right? And so the place is all exploding. It's all falling apart. It's all falling out of the sky as well. And Natasha comes across Taskmaster's cell because Melina flipped Taskmaster into the cell because they couldn't stop her, but what they could do, because she was kicking the shit out of Red Guardian, but the idea is you put her in the cell and then she can't get out.
And you let her explode again.
You let her explode again. And so Natasha turns up and she's like, I'm going to let you out. And I know you're going to fight me, but I'm going to let you out because it's the right thing to do. And so she lets Taskmaster out, and they try to escape, and the plane's still falling. And also, at this point, Florence Pugh blows up Dragov's ship, but definitely should have killed herself, but doesn't.
I thought that was the implication, that she was about to kill herself, but she just kind of gets flung over the side, and then Natasha jumps after her with a parachute and then catches her, and then they pull the parachute together, which also, I think they're still too close to the exploding spaceship to pull a parachute there.
I will say a lot of this stuff is debris is falling. Like, they are dead. Like, what a rock is going through that parachute at some stage, surely.
A fucking steel panel is going through that parachute.
Anything. It would take, like, maybe just a 1 foot rock falling from that height. We'll go straight through that parachute, they're both dead. Never even mind the fucking city that's currently collapsing around them.
Yeah, exactly. And, you do get the very cool bit of Taskmaster flying after Natasha through the air, and they're fighting on bits of debris that are falling off of the ship.
I mean, look, it's a great set piece. It makes no sense, but it's fucking great.
It's fucking class, though.
Yeah, and that's one of those times where I was like, this is fucking great. Whoever designed this and the way it's shot, the way it's designed, that the final battle really happens in mid-air, like falling and them sliding from debris to debris, trying to attack each other. It's just a really unique idea that's a bit different from what everything else we've seen.
Yeah, because Black Widow isn't a super powered person. Like, she's peak human, but she can't fly, she can't jump 40 feet. Like, she's very, very good at what she is.
Yeah. And did you like the bit where Taskmaster uses the knife and she slices all the glass as she's sliding down?
Yeah.
It's just a cool idea. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool idea. A lot of the Taskmaster knife stuff is the same as the Winter Soldiers as well.
Oh, yeah, and she used the Black Widow sequence as well earlier on.
Yeah.
When she was fighting Red Guardian. The bit I have here for the Sky sequence is great / dumb / cool, which I think we've covered.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, I think that covers every Marvel movie, though.
Yeah, it's great and it's dumb and it's cool. So what can you do?
That's the triangle, and you have to pick two. And a movie can be any of those.
And so they use the red mist on Taskmaster. And she basically just like they land and they're just fine.
They land and just fighting in some mud in a field.
Just and you know how it is when you fall 5,000 feet and you just land without a parachute. Don't eat.
It was like 4 days ago that like Black Widow fell 50 feet and hit all of those steel poles on the way down.
It's true, and so she now is able to fall 50 times that. And still be fine. Didn't hit one steel pole, so technically she could have fallen probably another 50 feet.
Yeah, testament to the ibuprofen, I would say.
Very fucking strong ibuprofen. And so, she should be a pancake, if we're honest here, on the ground.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, can I say as well, with Dragov exploding in the helicopter, all we saw basically was his glasses flying across the camera. Do you think he's definitely dead, or does it matter?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I don't know if he has the star power. Like, Ray Winston's a great character or actor, but like, I don't know if that character has the drawing power for a sequel.
He's not exactly Thanos, is he?
No. And so, you know what scene I really loved was when Yelena and Natasha are on the ground and they do the whistle and then she's like, oh, we're both upside down. And they just had this really lovely scene that I wasn't expecting, because I was watching this going, oh, that is a nice scene. I was like, that's good to have that at the end here.
Yeah, it's like at the end of this, they all acknowledge, well, more so Natasha acknowledges that, like, no, they are my family.
And she says it was true for me too. It was real for me too. Which about the life that they had. Yeah,
which validates Yelena's like childhood then as well.
Yeah, and so then General Ross is here, and he's not too happy. He turns up with 900 cars all driving in unison. That's how you know they're evil.
The old convoy, yeah.
And the old convoy. And Yelena gives her jacket before she leaves, and she's like, you're going to need this. And all the Black Widows and everything all leave on a ship, which I'm assuming is led by Yelena now. Like she's their new leader.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because like they all looked to her basically at the end, and she led them off with Red Guardian and with Rachel Weisz, and Scarlett Johansson gives them all of the widows and all of the remainder of the mind gas, and just being like, look, synthesize this, make more of it, free everyone, give everyone the choice.
Yeah, and then the movie ends with 2 weeks later after that, and what was her friend's name again?
Mason.
And he gets her a jet, and this is the same jet that she has in Infinity War that we see Cap on. So,
yes.
That's
like where it came from.
That's where the movie ends. And so then...
How did she get away from Ross, by the way?
There's no way she's getting out of that field, unless there's like another 700-foot drop somewhere else that she could survive, because he's dead if that happens.
That's true. Only she can survive drops.
She's got robotic legs.
I guess she just ran in the other direction, maybe?
Right. It's about 19 cars. How is she going to outrun them? And they're all in a row, though, so that's actually true. You only really have to outrun the first car.
Because then they can't pass out, because that would break convoy. Also, Taskmaster goes away with the widows as well.
Yes, that is true. Because Taskmaster, like, she's now had her brain reset. So, and so then we have one after credits scene that I wanted to talk about. That was you have Florence Pugh at the grave. And I think it's meant to be her mother's grave as well, because the tree is there.
Yeah, it's the same setup. Yeah, it's the blossom tree and the headstone under it, but it says a name this time. Yeah,
and so Florence Pugh's at the grave, and suddenly we have somebody sneezing beside her, blowing their nose. You think, someone's crying. It's Valentina from Falcon and Winter Soldier fame. Shaun, what is the story here?
Well, this is the first time we were meant to see Valentina.
True, that is correct.
This was supposed to come out before Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, she shows up and is just like, oh, I'm just here to pay respects, have a job for you, thought you might like the chance to get back at your sister's killer. Shows a picture of mid-haircut Clint Barton, I would say.
True.
And she's like, you want to take a crack at him? And Helena is like, yes, very much so. Couple of things about this scene. One, I like that Black Widow has a grave. I think that's an interesting thing to have in this world. And like, no, and because like Tony Stark's is like, his like ashes were sent into the lake at his house and things like that. And Steve Rogers presumably is on the moon.
Presumably.
But like the other character that died now has a grave that, like, I want to say fans, but like people who she saved come up and leave flowers and things like that, which is really nice.
Because the idea would be that like that would etch your identity forever. So like when she joins the Black Widows, they take her identity and she's just a number. And so she spent her whole life trying to be Natasha Romanoff. And so now she has an area in the whole planet that is Natasha Romanoff's laying place. Like that is her name is constantly there.
And it says on her grave, it's like sister, daughter, Avenger, and that's what she's remembered for. And
that's great. I think that's a really good like character arc for the person.
It really is. Now Valentina seems to be setting up some kind of Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers style thing between
with US Agent. And Yelena and all the Black Widows?
Maybe like the likes of Abomination as well. I could see Taskmaster being involved.
I think Taskmaster will be involved as well, yeah.
Yeah, so it's all these characters. Now I think Black Widow probably might show up in Hawkeye more so and then join the mainline Avengers.
I think Florence Pugh is meant to be the villain in Hawkeye.
The villain, you say?
I think, the antagonist anyway.
Right, well then it could be a case of like Clint Barton taking another Red Room alumni over to S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of
I suppose, yeah, and then you make her Black Widow. Would you join,
I think so.
Would you join her up with the young Avengers that are probably setting up, or just the outright Avengers?
Oh, Millennial Avengers or Real Avengers, who can say? I think I'd give her the outright Avengers.
Yeah.
I think Black Widow as a character works better with the mainline Avengers rather than... Because like the young Avengers are like maybe like 17, 18 kind of deal.
But, and I think it's a testament to Florence Pugh's acting in this that we come out of this going, oh yeah, throw her into the main Avengers, not the young Avengers.
Not the baby Avengers, no.
Because at going into this, I would have been like, oh well, add her into the young Avengers. She's like Black Widow Jr. But it's like, no, she's her own character.
Yeah, she's fully capable of taking on like that mantle.
Okay, so Shaun, that is the end of the film itself. In terms of ideas, I have one big question that's really annoying me.
Interesting.
Would this have been better as a show on Disney Plus?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Interesting.
I think part of what makes this film good is that it's a film and you watch it in one sitting. I think like spread this out over 6 weeks and like 40-minute episodes. I think there'll be a lot of drag in it. Like, I know we're saying there's stuff that hasn't been expanded on, but for the most part, the film doesn't suffer because of it. Like, I don't want to watch a story about child trafficking when I'm watching a comic book movie. I don't want to watch, like, the synthesization process of the mind gas. Sometimes it's fine to just be like, and that's why we need this thing to go over here. Like, that's a fine thing for a plot sometimes.
Okay, no, I can understand that. I mean, I was just thinking to give it more time, but I can see both sides of it as well. That like we finally give Natasha her big thing that she finally gets a movie. That's another thing.
Yeah, like she. It was nice that she got her own solo movie after so many years. poor Hawkeye, he is just getting that Disney Plus series.
And I hope he gets absolutely fucked, but like Yelena just shows up and kicks the shit out of him.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that's him ending as Hawkeye anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, I think series. So. I think, but actually, I think he'd be one to come back though every so often, like just at the off chance. Okay, so in terms of pros and cons, I mean, main pro for me, Florence Pugh. She's absolutely outstanding in the film. Scarlett Johansson
the whole
is kind
cast in general.
Yeah, I think the cast in general. Scarlett Johansson is like RDJ in that, like, she just falls back into this role. Like, that's just her character. So she doesn't have to work that
character. Like,
yeah. And the only issue is that she's kind of a side character in her own film, which is a bit of a weird one. Like, even in her film, like, it's all about the ensemble still, rather than herself.
Kinda, yeah. But I also think it was kind of necessary because you're setting up the next Black Widow as well. So they need to be. I think equal.
it's more of a setup than it is her movie. Like, it's.
I think so. It's a passing of the torch kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't a lot of Red Guardian. I could have used more. Red Guardian.
Maybe. I think that's a character that we will see again, though. Like, I think he's one that could crop up in Thunderbolts. Have him as like the Captain Boomerang style kind of rogue, really only cares about himself kind of dude.
Yeah.
So that's one. I think in this movie, I think like the way he was written in terms of like comedy and stuff like that, I think that could wear very thin if we got too much Red Guardian.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, that's fair enough. Other than that, I mean, I thought cast was excellent. I thought the direction was very good. I thought the script was, I mean, it was sharp in terms of dialogue, in terms of people about. But as you mentioned, that a lot of improv, a lot of good character work. That a bit of a tone shift from the start of the movie, which is very Jason Bourne, to probably Marvel film that kind of comes later on in the film.
Yeah, it does very much end as a Marvel movie.
But other than that, I mean, do you have any negatives?
Not a whole lot, really. Some of the CGI was maybe a little ropey in parts, but like most of the time that was like it was on screen for a second, or like it didn't hurt it in any way.
And what do you think of I thought the villain was a bit weak.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind it. I thought the villain more so was the Red Room rather than Dreykov. If that makes sense.
No, I get the idea.
Yeah, like he is very much like the puppet master, like the man behind the curtain in Wizard of Oz kind of a deal. So it's really all about taking down the Red Room. I mean, it's the first time we saw it, and now it's gone as well. Like and it's not the fault of this movie. It's like it was just kind of thrown around as something that was occasionally mentioned in some Marvel movies but never expanded upon. Then we saw it for 15 minutes and now it's presumably gone forever.
I wouldn't even say 15 minutes. I would have said, was Florence Pugh, she just ran through it though. I thought it was like maybe pretty on screen for 10 seconds.
And we just thought, they were just practicing spinning around with guns in a room.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem with all Marvel films that the villains aren't as strong as all the characters that we like in it, but that's not a problem for this film. That's just the thing that happens for all of them, so that's absolutely fine. I would say I think it's a film that, in terms of premise, you could have gone many different ways, even especially into Budapest or something like that. But for what they did, I think the cast themselves and the chemistry, like, they just carry it. That they just make it a lot. I think with different people in those roles, it could have been a lot worse. But it was... Yes. Like, I think it could have been a slog if it was different people.
Yeah, because if the cast wasn't entertaining to watch in this, it would be a very by the numbers kind of movie. And even like if this had been made, say, after Age of Ultron, you probably wouldn't have the likes of David Harbour and Florence Pugh in it because they wouldn't have been as big at the time.
Yeah, and I think the idea is that David Harbour and Florence Pugh are probably two absolute, like, a gold mine that they hired the two of them. Because can you imagine the Florence Pugh character being played by someone that wasn't that likeable? Like, that was just... Like, that's a very annoying character, if so.
Yeah, played wrong, that character grates on you.
Especially David Harbour as well. Like, we all like David Harbour, but like, if that character is done with somebody else, you're like, oh, fuck this guy. He's a dickhead.
If that was Jared Leto as Red Guardian.
Oh, Jared! Jared! Imagine that was Jared, and I'm trying to think of some... See, I don't want to offend anybody.
We'll offend Jared all day.
Jared, Kristen Stewart? Is that... What's the lady from Twilight?
Yeah, she seems nice.
But she seems nice and she seems good, but I don't think she'd be good for the role that Florence Pugh plays in this.
Right, okay.
Whereas, like, I think Florence Pugh has a level of... I mean, when she's talking to Natasha, it's like like she doesn't take her seriously. Like, she's just like rolling her eyes at everything her big sister does. Like, you're not that fucking good. Like, I can do that too.
You can hear the eye roll in her voice most of the time. Yeah,
exactly. How many Weetabix out of Weetabix are we giving it?
Instead of Weetabix, I'm going to give it a full heaped bowl of Comrade Crunch.
And to be communist, I will have equally the same amount of cereal.
Glory to Russia.
You both have blood seeping from your ledgers. I'm so proud.
I really like to... Everyone, like, go to the cinema if you want and if it's safe and if you're comfortable with that. It is on Disney Plus as well, so you can watch it in your own home. You watch it on your phone. Watch it on a train where you're socially distanced from people. Do whatever you want. Will I take us out, Connor?
Yeah, please.
Thanks.
Please stop talking about trains.
Fair enough. Thanks everyone for listening.
Sorry, do Disney not get you in to promote the app and what you can get it on? You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it on a train.
Tablets. You can probably watch it in like a demo of a TV store.
On your PS1. On your iPad. On your iPod Nano.
Apple Watch while you're driving. Do it. Thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Movie Mondays. It's not usually a review show, but it's nice to review a movie when it comes out. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be doing Weird News, Friday with Hero or Zero, and next Monday with another episode of Movie Mondays. Just to be aware, we are recording this on Sunday as well, so if a major trailer drops tomorrow, we'll get to it.
I mean, it's a movie review though, so this movie only came out like 2 days ago.
Yeah, this is the big news. Also, shout out to all of our patrons, everyone who supports us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. You get movie reviews and talks about the Loki show, also running on Disney Plus at the minute. And special thank you goes out to Connor. I don't mean to alarm you, but I think someone might be listening to these private conversations that we have.
Oh no.
Thank you also to Ciara Lawler, David Clarke, Ed Ball, Joe. Heroes for Hire is brought to you by the Nightwing movie, Lil Dicky's Big Adventure, coming to a post-virtual cloudaplex.
We're all looking forward to it.
Well, look, can't wait. Róisín, Schrödóisìn, Hally, Ryan Right Time, Evanson, Shaun, Heroes Don't Do That, Jamieson, Dominic, Jessiah, Florida Gal Green, Anna, Maureen has the fry on Hjelmroos, Lil Dicky I don't know what a spice bag is, but I want to try it, McGrew.
You don't.
You want to. It's
your
so
insides,
good.
Your insides thank you for not.
They'll be ripped out of you, but my God, you'll be happy. Thank you also goes to Danny McLaughlin, Ray, and it's worth it just to have a different name said each episode. Everybody get up singing 5 will make you get down now. Kind regards, Luke.
Fair enough.
Luke testifies it's a great service, great reviews if you want to take advantage of that.
If you want to get an idiot to read out a name every week, all you have to do is become a patron.
You came to the wrong show because I'm not an idiot. Gotcha. You can also follow us on all the socials. Twitter @Heroes for Hire Pod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Divilment's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire Podcast. But the most important thing you can ever do to help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just a one, please.
And I think that's about it, Connor.
I think so. So I have been Connor Lawler.
I have been Shaun Meehan.
I will see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.